let's turn to our deals report now, because it's been a strange kind of a year for sports, of course. And between the stop and the start of the schedule and the empty arena and the fans having to engage largely from the couch, well, this weekend, boxing brings the spotlight to Vegas, where Lomachenko-Lopez fight will air on ESPN Live from, well, MGM. The president of Top Rank Boxing, it's a promotional company that struck a deal with ESPN, well, it sat down earlier with Bloomberg's Ed Hammond to discuss why the fight shunned the traditional pay-per-view route.
There was a really unique opportunity. We worked with our partners at ESPN. The fall had some uncertainty for them as it related to live sports. As you know, they've been doing patchwork with their calendar, trying to fill in the time being from MLS to NBA to Major League Baseball to NFL to college football. And they came to us with a wonderful idea of like, listen, the fall has some pockets of opportunity that we've never seen before. It's usually the most crowded time of the year. Let's try to take what would be a pay-per-view worthy fight and bring it to the forefront and the biggest audience on our biggest platform. And it's a commitment, and it was a great opportunity, right? It's to make, if you have the Fiesta Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl on ESPN or ABC, why can't we have a massive prize fight there? And I don't think this eliminates the opportunity for pay-per-view. I think this supplements it, and I think it only makes pay-per-view and down the road even bigger.
But going back to linear for boxing seems so interesting to me, because boxing was the original sort of DTC product, the original pay-per-view thing where you had the blockbuster event. And you sort of, because of that, potentially lost some of these eyeballs that you might otherwise get. So then my question is, if you are going back to linear for a fight like this, how do you then keep those viewers? How do you make sure that they retain their interest in the sport so that when you do go back to pay-per-view, they stay on the sport?
Well, I think what we've come up with is the frequency aspect stays on linear. The super tentpole event or blockbuster in the movie event goes to a play platform. And then the question is, that's the model. Then the question is, where does DTC sit in all of this, right? Because that's in between, right? It's a really in between. And I think the DTC offering is a combination of both. It's a combination of robust content that is associated with whatever content the product you're producing. If it's fight shoulder programs, if it's classics, if it's analysis, it's on demand and you can go into that ecosystem and just watch it. But it doesn't eliminate any of them. We're not trying to eliminate one platform or the other. I think we're trying to work with our partners at ESPN and obviously Disney with their DTC profile, and keep the ESPN Plus robust subs up as well. So the ESPN Plus and ESPN will be showing the undercard from 7:30 till 10 o'clock Eastern. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, it'll go exclusively to ESPN Network.
You talked about the sort of lack of other sports, or at least the severely disrupted and uncertain sports calendar that every network is suffering. How much pressure are sports like boxing under from ESPN or other networks, indeed, to keep providing content and to increase the amount of content they do provide, because you just have that shortfall of, whether it's college football, college basketball, regular season sports?
There was never pressure, I would say, from any of our partners to do it. It was like, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to create an environment that is obviously safe. We want you to work with regulators, not work around regulators who we do within either the states or jurisdictions. And we want to make sure put health and safety first. So those were the things we had to do and check all the boxes. And our event in June 9th was the first real event that ESPN was intimately involved in the production. They post-COVID, and they had to, knock the dust off, some of their cameramen and things like that, and say, okay, it's time to get out on the field. And we had an extensive protocol system that was set up for them.